The Clone Wars isn't happening in a galaxy far, far away. It's happening right here, right now. And that's because the easiest way to win the battle of standing out is to stand right next to the next biggest game. But that blessing, it comes with a curse. For if your game can't stand on its own 2 feet, it might as well be 6 feet under. When Forager managed to battle its way onto Nintendo's latest indie showcase, I thought it might be digging its own grave. The game barely even swung a pickaxe before games like Stardew Valley and Minecraft came to mind. But it's all too easy to write off a game, so I dug a little bit deeper. Wow, the puns are coming in thick today. Turns out, Forager wasn't digging the grave at all. It was me. I found myself after playing the demo, just unable to put this game down. It really hooked me, it was so addicting. So today, I want to share what Forager is and where it goes, why it hooked me, and why that might not be a great thing. Now, Forager takes a lot of elements from a lot of different games, but I want to make one thing clear here, despite my opening, the game isn't just a copycat game. It certainly does stand on its own 2 feet. And as we dive through these details here, I think you've got to realize that, yeah, this is like a unique game despite borrowing a lot of elements from a lot of stuff that we know. So what exactly is this game then? But one look at it and you've probably got the very core idea of it here. You really don't need me to explain too much. You're going to be harvesting trees and rocks and materials and anything like that from the ground. And then you're going to be building stuff so that you can harvest more stuff and build more stuff and grow like that. So the goal of the game, I guess, is to discover all the land and make all the equipment and finish the dungeons. But that's like saying Minecraft is about getting to the dragon. It's all about the journey there, and there's a lot more to go into here. I find the best way to explain this game is to just kind of start from, well, the start. And you'll notice from the start, it's what I call a carrot on a stick game. I mean, every game has a carrot on a stick. You're always following, trying to get to that goal, that one thing that's just out of your reach. But this is especially one of those games, except instead of just having one carrot kind of hanging in front of you, you've always got multiple. And we're going to get into that and how that plays into the gameplay. Right from the start, you notice there's just one island, and you have a goal to build a furnace, which you're going to need resources for, so you're going to go gather resources. You don't have to worry about the resources running out because they just keep coming back. In fact, at one stage, I just walked away from the game and came back, and a couple of my islands were just full of resources. I'm like, okay, this is going to be hard to kind of catch up with. From the start, this might seem rather simple, but it instantly starts to open up. More of those carrots that I was talking about earlier start placing themselves in front of you, because not only are you collecting materials, now you're leveling up from collecting those materials. So that's your next goal there, is that you want to level up. And then you're also trying to make that what was it called? Furnace. and you're trying to make a forge. And you're trying to get money so that you can buy the surrounding islands so that you can continue getting more stuff. Let's pretend that you got all those out the way. You've been working hard for the money. You've got your forge, you've got your furnace, all of this stuff is out of the way. You've maybe leveled up and managed to buy an island. What do you do now? Well, you've still got plenty more to do. You've only just kind of breached the first layer of carrots. Now you're onto the second layer, which just got a whole lot bigger. I hope you're hungry. You might want to choose to focus on gold, and gold isn't just obtained in this game. You have to, at the start here until later on, which I won't get into any spoilers like that, and right at the start here, you have to make money. You literally have to find gold, and then you're going to have to craft money from it. That's the only way for you to get it. So maybe you want to focus on crafting gold so you can buy more islands and expand your territory. And maybe you want to work on getting a better pick so that you can mine faster and kill enemies faster. Maybe you want to work on getting some more buildings, because there's a whole range of buildings for you to unlock and continue crafting. Those forge and the furnace are only the first two. Or that new island that you got, maybe that has a quest on it. Maybe you want to work towards that goal and crafting that. Or maybe you just want to get materials, or perhaps, and most likely, you want to work on all of these things at once. And this is where this game kind of gets into the multiple carrot reference that I'm talking about here. You always have so many carrots that you can be working towards that I never felt like I could put the game down. It's always like, where's that next carrot? Where's that next carrot? Then you also have to keep in mind, this is just the very start. Let's skip to an hour into the game. All of a sudden, you've got multiple different kinds of backpacks and boots and stuff like that you can continue crafting and getting better, as well as your pickaxe. You might want to continue making more and more buildings, or focus on magic, or focus on farming. You want to build your farm and plant some crops, or maybe all these new islands that you're getting, maybe they have dungeons and different things you begin doing. And so that's why the game just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it gets almost overwhelming. But at the same time, not really, because you can easily focus just down on one of these tasks, and they're not big tasks. Like if you wanted to focus on one, at the moment, like I've only played a couple of hours of gameplay, but the most one it would ever take me is probably 15 minutes to complete if I just focused on that one. But I'm always splitting my attention between all these different things, because they're all just in the same spot. Oh, while I'm getting rocks and materials, I could be, you know, getting some other materials for this. They all kind of work in conjunction with each other. It works really well. Before we get into the leveling up and some of the other skill systems that I want to just dive a little bit deeper into, we have things like there's feats in the game. So if you just want to try achieve them, there's 84, I think, different feats here that you can try to achieve throughout this game, and just different things like killing a certain amount of enemies or making a certain amount of things, or just different things like that. And they do get a little bit more creative than I'm trying to make them sound here. Also, if you played Stardew Valley, which I hope you have, there's things like the community center type thing. I think that was what it's called. I can't really remember in Stardew Valley, but it's like where those little dudes were that you had to craft stuff for them to kind of complete each board. They have a similar thing here where it's like, you know, make a certain amount of items. Once you discover the island, make a certain amount of items and fill it up and get rewarded. And that same kind of process into kind of completing everything and collecting everything and doing everything comes into that feat system and into this community center. Now, I do want to take a little bit of a deeper dive into this skill system, because there is a skill system. It focuses around 4 skills, and this is where, like, every time you level up, you get to basically buy one of these 4 skills, and they continue to branch out in kind of a 4-way pattern, which is a really bad way of explaining it. They basically branch out, and each time you buy one, they unlock the adjacent ones to them. So this is basically how you're going to get a lot of your new buildings and just level up different things, make things craft faster. I'm not even going to go into them, but there are so many skills here, and they unlock so many different things, and you can kind of focus on the 4 areas that I'm talking about. So if you just want to be industrial, or you just want to be farming, or economics, or magic, you kind of have these 4 different sections. You can be like, this is where I'm going to go into, or maybe I split my attention between 2 or all 4, and slowly work my way out here. And as I said, this goes into the building section and the skills section as well, so that when you actually want to build more buildings, this is where you kind of unlock them, and then you can go to the building section, and you notice there's the same 4 skills. So whether you want to build the industrial, farming, economics, or magic buildings, they're all just there for you to choose from. Now, I mentioned making money and the fact that I'm not going to go into like spoilers from later on, but this is how you buy new islands. So you notice there's actually a buy island tab, and that zooms you out to the map, and then you have like islands adjacent to any one that you've bought already that you can continue buying. I mentioned the zones, so there's 5 in total, and the ones that aren't the starting zones, so the other 4 are basically, will each have a dungeon that you've got to complete, and you'll get rewards for doing that, as well as a dungeon boss and things you expect like that. I gather you kind of got that from the trailer. And if you didn't see the trailer, I'll make sure to leave a link below anyway, just in case. Also, I mentioned that these islands that you unlock, they have NPCs earlier. I just kind of touched on it and didn't say anything about it. So sometimes these NPCs will just have different quests and stuff that you can do, but there's also just puzzle islands. So you unlock one and you might go there and you'll be like, what do I do here? That's for you to figure out. They're literally like a puzzle that I'm not even going to go into them, because they're actually quite clever, some of them, and I don't want to spoil any of them. Of course, there's like places that if you want to find out what they do, maybe you're just getting really stuck on a puzzle, you can, like the wiki, let's just mention that. But if you just don't want to be spoiled, they're actually quite fun and challenging to figure out. And the trailer mentioned that there's touchscreen support. Basically, all that is in the PC version, which I played, you could just mouse over items that dropped and it would pick them up. So I'm guessing they showed on the touchscreen. It's the same thing here. You can just touch things that you want to pick up that have dropped from an enemy that might be out of reach. Now, I mentioned that I played 2 hours of this and I just didn't want to stop. Like, I couldn't pull myself away from it. But I do want to mention, I don't think this game is going to be the next Stardew Valley. It's not going to blow anyone out of the water in that type of direction. It's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people, but it's definitely not that type of game, because it's more, to me, it's more that type of game that I would sit down, I might watch some telly and then have this on while I'm doing like a second task at the same time, because it doesn't require my full attention. It doesn't require everything that I've got. It's just like a tap and touch and make sure that things are moving while I'm just going around and doing stuff type of game. It's not like I need to be paying full attention for this boss in Dark Souls that cuts me down. There's nothing like that. I wanted to also mention again, those carrots that I mentioned all lined up in front of you that you're always going to be grabbing at, and how that kind of kept me going and kept pulling me through this game, and that's what made me not want to stop. There's a little bit of a problem with that I just want to touch on quickly, and that's because I'm not 100% sure if the reason that I didn't want to stop was because I always just had a carrot that was so close to me getting, or whether I was just having that much fun with it. And like, it's almost like the further you sit away from it, the more you see the stick holding that carrot up, and you realize that might be what's pulling you through. I don't want to take anything away from the game with that though. I just want people who kind of to sit back and look at the gameplay and say, would they be into this, and what type of experience are they expecting out of this? Because different people are going to get different experiences out of this, and that's why I kind of like, for myself, I see it as a sit in front of the TV game while I'm doing something else, not commit 100% of my attention and focus down on this, because like, That's more what like Stardew Valley is, when I'm like, okay, I've got to make sure I'm getting the most out of my day, and talking to every person in the town, and then like selling all my stuff, and making sure my farms are all watered. That is where my like 100% attention game goes. But this is just more like fun, chill out, doesn't require all of you type of game. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Why don't you let me know, again, as always, just let me know what you're thinking about this game. And I think this is the last of the indies that I'll probably be covering, so look forward to me doing something a little bit different next time. And remember, for great Nintendo entertainment, you can count on me. So for today's end screen, I just want to say, we've been doing this for like, I think it's just over a month, a couple days ago. And things have been going really well. And I just want to thank like all my new subscribers, everyone who's kind of joined me up to this point. The fact that we've only been doing this for this long and we've been doing so well, it's great. And so thank you to everyone who comes along and subscribes and comments. And even to those of you who just watch each video and don't comment, like I appreciate every single one of you. And thank you so much for getting me to this point. And onwards and upwards. Bye.